Hello, Periscope. This is Magdalene Harvey. I am in the hotel lobby and I wanted to get my scope in real quick for tonight. The sleep depravity has kicked in. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about is hello. Thank you for joining, Kat. Thank you for joining Chanty Sassy Raps. Thank you for joining Honey Chunks and Tamer Raby. Thank you for joining, and thank you for the hearts. I love it, love it. Please share with your followers. I was going to hello. Swipe up for Android and swipe left, right for the hi. And swipe left, right for the thank you for joining, Jen, the Grant Guru. Um, Swipe left, right for iPhones. And I would love for you all to share this. I've just wrapped up a PMB day one of a PMP boot camp class. I'm here in New Orleans, Louisiana, eating some great food. And as you can see, the sleep depravity is kicking in, but I am committed to doing this scope on a daily basis. So thank you all for sharing with your followers. Thank you for sharing, and welcome replay viewers. Please, you could tap the screen for hearts. I love hearts. What I wanted to talk about is how do we help a customer get clear as a project manager on exactly what we're doing for them. Having the one-on-one interviews are great because you could kind of sort of pick the mind of that person. But as a project manager, you're somewhat personal, almost like a salesperson. Oftentimes, a project manager understands how to get things accomplished. Sometimes the customer has a false sense of preparation or a false sense of what's required. So they have major expectations. And yes, I am in the boot camp for course development. And your clients have major expectations, but they don't really understand what's required from the project manager's perspective, and also the team that has to produce that for the project. So they want to be short, and the project manager has to dig deep, almost as if you're selling, even though you already have the client and you've already been selected as the project manager. You almost have to sell and ask those really deep questions and get those unspoken requirements. And to do that, we do more than, okay, hello, and your buck send me your number. Okay, I sure will. We do more than just brainstorming and ask questions. We also do what we call a fishbone diagram or Ishikawa diagram. And this is where you get to the real deep why. You ask why literally 5 times. And based on the first answer that you get, you, of course, elaborate that, make sure you're clear in terms of understanding that answer. And then you ask why again. And then after that answer, you bring the two together as a professional, and then you ask why again. So literally, you could ask why 5 to 7 times so you could get to the root cause of a problem in terms of why we're doing the project in the first place. And just that alone, people are so appreciative. In many cases, they don't like going through all of that. But once they go through all of that with you, they appreciate you as a professional because, like I mentioned before, people don't care how much you know. They want to know how much you care. And as a project manager, you have to be that caring, loving person. Also, you want to encourage your team. You want to encourage your team to be there, to be present for this customer, and to also produce those results. And oftentimes, you can have challenges among your team. So as a project manager, when you're clear, when you're understanding, the same thing you want to do is go through a brainstorming session with your team. When you go through a brainstorming session with your team, you want to do what we call a nominal group technique. We're going to nominate what are some of the best approaches that we should take. Also, we do mind mapping. Mind mapping is so powerful when it comes to a team because you could get the objective side of things and you could basically stretch and get new viewpoints for the same content over and over. And it just gives you a lot of information so that you could develop a good approach. Also, as a project manager, you want to manage by objectives. That's really important. You want to figure out what is it that people are needing, and based on what they need, you want to manage those objectives, and you want buy-in and shared ownership from people who are on the team. You do not want to be the project manager that create plans and go into this detailed planning stage and then come to a team of professionals and tell them this is what you're going to do. You will get a lot of resistance, and you don't want that. So thank you so much for sharing the scope, and thank you so much for the hearts. I really appreciate that. You want to manage by objectives, and this is personal goals of the individuals who are on the team, making sure that those goals align with their collaboration of others that are on the team. And you want to also make sure that all the functional departments and all of the vendors that you're collaborating with, that they are part of the team as well, and that the goals that they bring to the table and the objectives that they bring to the table line up as well. So as a project manager, you're a critical thinker. Not only are you a critical thinker, you have exceptional emotional intelligence. You are a great communicator. You are a great leader. Not leadership by title, but leadership in the sense of getting things done. You are a great team developer and group leader. I did a couple scopes on team development and group development, how to handle conflict. I did some scopes on that. So if you could catch those on catch.me/enilagam, which is my first name backward. Oh my goodness, forgive me for not introducing myself. My name is Magdalene Harvey. I am the project queen, and I teach on project management, ITIL, Scrum, and Agile, a certification. So I help people obtain those professional certifications. Thank you for joining, Honey Chunks, again. Thank you for joining again. All right, and please share with your followers. If you've already shared, please share again so we can get more people in on the scope. I am very committed to getting these scopes done, and I'm covering my face because I had an allergic reaction to lunch today. So it's stretching and peeling and doing everything it's not supposed to do. So I'm going to have to look at some of my scope tribe and find out who has some real good skin products for this skin issues that I'm experiencing. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of, thank you. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of how does a project manager help a customer get clear? Not only do we brainstorm, and not only do we do what we call a nominal group technique. One of the techniques that we like to use is you get a stack of index cards or stickies, and you allow people to write all of their ideas, no matter where it comes from, no matter what the idea is about, no matter what their question's about. You get them to write them on the stickies, and then you take the stickies or the index cards, and then you sort them and group them according to their likeness. So everything that's dealing with IT, you group that together. Everything that's dealing with social media specifically, you deal with that. You put that together. Everything that's dealing with customer service, you put that together. Everything that's dealing with marketing, you put that together. And you put you group everything according to their likeness. And then the expert, in terms of that information, that's who you give the cards to. And then as a project manager, you work through that with those individuals. One of the things that a project manager must realize that they are not the expert in everything. So we leverage expertise that are owned by others to collaborate and get everybody to get things done. So we're the glue that brings it all together. We also do voting, where we vote, where we could do majority rules, or welcome to the scope. Welcome to the scope, Miss TP 2009. Welcome. And we also, as a project manager, when there's we'll say some conflict or some confusion, we also help our customers get clear. We get clear not only on what we're doing, the time frame that's expected, and then we reset expectations and give them realistic goals and timelines. Also in reference to budget. So budget and time is kind of funny because they definitely work together. All right. Once the project manager get all the, I would say, raw data or raw requirements from their stakeholders, the project manager wants to benchmark. You want to benchmark against organizations who are doing something similar to see if you're on the right track or if there are some best practices out there that you were not aware of. It saves a lot of time and money if you're able to figure out, do all of that research in the background ahead. Welcome, Gregory Knight. Thank you for joining the scope. Please share with your followers. Also, if you could tap the screen for hearts. I love hearts. I love different color hearts. I love to see them glowing. So thank you all for joining my scope. It tells me that you are enjoying what you are hearing. thank you for inviting your followers, Mr. Knight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My name is Magdalene Harvey, and I scope on project management. I am the project queen. I am a mother of 6. I'm a project manager, and I teach boot camp classes. I teach people how to take and pass certification exams, and I also coach and mentor project managers, and I do consulting. So I am full of a lot of things. Very, 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 very excited about life, and my life is a project. So I love talking about project management. So today I was talking about how to help a customer get clear on what's needed and to move a project forward. Oftentimes projects can get stuck because there's those implied requirements. For instance, the customer may have asked for legs, but we didn't know that you wanted the legs to walk or to move. Those are those implied requirements. So you want to help the customer get clear and explicitly state what they're looking for, and the things that are implied, we talk about those things. Please give your email again. Okay, my email address is my first name backward, enilagam@gmail.com. enilagam@gmail.com. And I'm very excited about some new courses and stuff that I'm be creating. And this is not courses for PMP, because PMP is so intense. And also the project management courses that I teach in Scrum and Agile, they're extremely intensive. So what happens when people take the class, they're initially overwhelmed because it's so much information. So I'm breaking those courses down, and I am helping people understand project management holistically, how to get into it, how to interview, how to set yourself up, how to talk through interviews and things of that nature. So I'm really excited about that, and you guys will probably be my beta test group in terms of some of the courses. Thank you for joining, Capira. Thank you for joining. Let's go. All right. So those are some of the core things that the project manager must be able to do. So communication is key. Not only must you be able to communicate effectively verbally, but you also need to be able to communicate effectively in writing. You also need to be able to facilitate meetings via conference call and keep people engaged. That is huge. How often, and if you're honest with yourself, have you been on a conference call and you've been doing something totally different and not paying attention? So a project manager must in advance plan those ground rules so they understand how to keep people engaged throughout a conference call. And you want to keep conference calls short, no more than 30 minutes. If you're going to have a brainstorming conference call, you need to make that separate than a conference call where you're discussing action items and things that need to be done to move forward in a project. The project management tools for collaboration that needs to be used are very important. I just found out about a program called Asana, so I'm going to do some testing with that this week, and I'll also do a training on how this can be used to collaborate on projects, because I have a plethora of projects that I am working with and that I'm working on. Thank you for inviting your followers. Thank you. And thank you for tapping that screen for hearts. I love the hearts. Purple is so my favorite color. Purple is my favorite color. So today in class, we talked about stakeholder management, and we don't call people as project managers. So in a regular conversation, we would call, they're regular people. They're groups of people. They're people that are affected by the project, but the terminology we use is stakeholders. So we talked about stakeholder analysis and analyzing stakeholders. How much power does the person have? How much interest do they have in the project? And how much influence they have on your project? A project manager needs to identify these players, almost like playing chess. You need to identify these people that are on your project because they can really help move the project forward, especially the influencer. The influencer may not have interest in your project. So if you know you have an influencer with no interest, as a project manager, you want to pull them in and get them engaged, because when you get that influencer engaged, the influencer can help those who are normally not engaged because they don't know you well become part of the project and participate. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, Apostle Booker. Thank you for joining. Praise the Lord. Project management is very, 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 very effective in churches. I did a course for my pastor about 3 years ago, and I attend Dr. Creflo Dollar's church, and I taught a class on his behalf on project management for over 400 soon-to-be pastors and leaders who were in the ministerial school, and their life was changed forever. Because one thing about church, we believe in miracles, and we put unrealistic expectations oftentimes on people because they want a project done by a certain date and a certain time. But guess what's going to happen? The day will come and go. The day will come. But just because the day came, it does not mean the project was successful. So we help to ensure that your project team members are not frustrated and pushing the reset button over and over again, and coming up with some effective best practices and systemizing how they do things, getting rid of waste so you're not paying for things at the last minute, setting up vendor management and setting up ways to collaborate with your vendors, basically a supply chain, if you will, for lack of a better term, so that you have great relationships with your vendors and you can set expectations, and it's a long-term relationship. So project management can be used to improve processes, help businesses become more and more efficient and effective. Are there any questions for me? I know this is a short scope. Are there any questions for me? There is so much information to give out in reference to project management. I could literally scope 4 or 5 times a day and break things down. What I try to do is keep the scopes really, really simple and not so technical. First time here, Greg invited me. Okay, what is your name? I see Kayana. Hey, Missy, thank you for joining the scope. I was actually just about to end the scope, but thank you for joining. Yeah, so today just a quick recap. We talked about how to Quinn. Okay, well, welcome, Quinn. Welcome. I'm scoping on project management. I am pronounced like Quinn. Got it. I am a project management guru, teacher, trainer. I call myself the Project Queen. I teach people how to take and pass certification exams in reference to project management. And these are people that are serious about project management. So they're so serious about project management, they're willing to take their career to the next level, learn a common language that's associated with project management. Also, I give them the consulting skills. One of the goals that I have when someone takes my class, that they have a takeaway, that not only did you come and get a lot of theory, but you could actually practice it. The class focuses on what a professional project manager does and how all of the processes interrelate. However, in consulting and in coaching, I go deeper. I go more into the practical. How do you practice this? And I give you what I would say the Rosetta Stone. You may have done this before. Here's when it's not effective, and here's how to be effective. I also help people who are already project managers. They've been doing it for years, and then they come into a project management course and they're like, this is a foreign language. Oh my gosh. And it seems like it is that, a foreign language. So I help do that Rosetta Stone translation for them to help them see that their experience is relevant. It's just a professional way in a perfect world that PMI says that things should be done. And that's for PMP. So that's the Project Management Professional certification. I've seen that certification change people's lives. It definitely changed zip codes and tax brackets. So if you're interested in more information, you could definitely email me. I am new to social media, so I'm developing a lot of different social media products so that I could be able to share this information with you easily. But I thank you all for joining my scope and for sharing with your followers. Heart it up. Also, you can tell people they can catch the replay, and also heart it up during the replay. Thank you. It's probably a project manager in a past life. I realize I love organizing and planning. Okay, thank you for sharing. Yes, good. You know, I call people closet project managers. There are a lot of closet project managers out there, and that's the term that I call it. And what I teach people is how to manage projects instead of projects managing them, and how to have that formal language. Because if you are a business owner, if you handle the business that you won like a project, your life goes to another level. Especially once you've systemized how you do things. Of course, you customize it for the customer. You stay relevant to the customer. You influence, you persuade, you motivate, you help them feel comfortable with what they purchase from you. And at the same time, it's a business. So you make sure that you capture what was effective, what worked, what didn't work. Benchmark yourself against some best practices for the industry that you're in to find ways to do what you do more efficiently, more effectively. And then you continue building. You continue building. You could sell that product over and over again. I helped one of my students today who was kind of sort of, they have a project and they're only part of one microcosm of this project. So they didn't understand how a lot of the other things went together. And I helped them do that. I helped them understand that. So to see that light bulb go off and to see them go, oh my gosh, this is what everyone else is doing. Yes, and this is your value and this is how important you are because this is your piece. This is your part. So I help companies when they're lost in their own project get clear. All right. Again, thank you all for joining.